In the air to right, and he did it again!
To another Lefties 2 broadcast. Week 101 is here, and of course we have the groups going in. The group of death is kind of interesting this week, as well as you guys can see it, a new list. Players in the with 200 speed or higher ranked. 25 of them, and of course there are 3 players that with their skill, depending on where they're at, the game's at, they can get up to over 200, right? Over 200 speed. So we're going to include them as well, make it an even 25. All right, so let's get into the groups first. All right, first one, Masaba full swing at 86. They're going to get the victory here. Second place, up for grabs. Everyone else dropping. So, all right, Cooperstown 2, Venezuela, probably the odds-on favorites in this one. Revolution at 52nd, MJIB and Nan's crew. Aftermath, Uprise, Taiwan, Baga, Raise Up, and Chinese team. Interesting there in platinum level 1. All right, Aftermath, New Day, Misfits, Straya, Alpargata, and Taiwan as well. This one's kind of fun because Misfits and Aftermath, New Day keep on going back and forth. All right, Aftermath, OG. All right, one of the newer ones, Shrine, Stars and Bars, Lower Body Tiger, Bomb Squad. All right, Group of Death. As you guys can see, first, third, Taiwan, Snow Poetry, and Cats. 4 Taiwanese teams in there. Taiwan Representative Club, Tough and Tender. So, and Perla Negra. A lot of weird rankings, but these are the top 5 scoring teams in Platinum Level 5. So, this is what happens. You get up there, and you get a chance to go against the big boys. And 2 teams for sure are dropping, so this is going to be a fun group. We'll see who comes out on top. All right, Sea-Doo, 3,307th, second week in existence. Let's keep it going. Keep swinging. Trying to get back in that 6,000. A victory here will get them there. And this is what happens, right? You look at the ranks. Kind of a weird rank. But when you have a bad week, you get dropped down. 5th place, 4th place. Competition gets a little easier. So, good opportunity for them to get back to 6,000. Baseball Canada, Nexus, Namba, Hanwha, and Baseball Bros. 4 of these teams have gotten 6,000 several times. Nexus is trying to play the underdog role and get at least 1st or 2nd place. 3rd place isn't going to cut it here. You got to get 1st or 2nd. Namba and Baseball Bros are the odds-on favorites. All right, American Sluggers, Hounds, Red Shear, Warriors, and Start Swinging. One of these teams in 1st place probably gets them closer. I mean, obviously gets them closer, but I think might get them to that 6,000. Top 100 again. A little farther from 6,000 for sure. All right, Big Red Machine, 371st. Art 84, Aces Venezuela, VZ, probably the favorite here, Canadian Crushers. We'll see what goes on, but this is going to be a fun gold level 3. Big Red Machine had not seen these guys in the group, so let's check it out. Alt Stars, Mandalorians, Blue Jays, 2022 righties, and Slam Jams. As you can see, 2nd and 6th, and they're going against 53rd, 65th, 66th. That means they don't score very much. That's what I'm saying. If you have a bad week, you get to 6,000, the good week, whatever, and then you have a bad week, you get to go against players that don't play well. So that's where the rankings are all kind of messed up. You don't score high, but you're still ranked high. That's how it works. Speaking of team that's trying to get to the top 100, Lefties 2 stars, 136. Then Blue Line, a team that's been in the top 100 before, 777. This is the first week they've never been in the top 100. So a good 1st place finish, 2nd place finish for any of these teams gets them either back into the top 100 or maybe real close. So let's go Lefties 2 starters. Lefties 2 chill, trying to get back to that 6,000 spot. And again, they probably even won't get that the way they score with they would need a big 130 week and add 25 to that. They still might not even get it. So it's going to take 2 weeks for any of these teams. Moderated bunch trying to get to that 6,000. And they're always so close. So the favorites here, Chinese team, Thrashers. Let's see what happens. Lefties 2 as well as all of these clubs here, Padres and All-Stars, all trying to get back to 6,000. Korea and Japan Sluggers there are currently at 6,000. So you can call this group of death too. I'm not. 3 teams not in 6,000. So, but all these teams have been at 6,000 before, as high as 2nd place for some of them. So we're going to see how it works out at the end of the week. It's going to be a tough battle. Let's go to the rankings of the top 25 players with speed over 200. 200 higher. Let's go. Round, everybody. Speed, we have the need for speed, and this is another list. We've gotten the list 25 players. It's going to take a long one. That's why the video comes out a little bit later. 25 players with 200 speed or higher. Now, again, we're including Kaya, who can randomly get over 200. Mark, if he is tie game, 200. And of course, Ricky in the 9th inning, 200 speed. So we're including them in this list to make it a nice little fun 25. All right, so let's get into it. This is my list. Of course, if you have a list of your own, let me know. Share it. Is my top 5 in your top 5? All right, I'll give you a reason for each one and where they're at, so and why they're there, right? List at the bottom to the top, a little bit difficult. But let's go to number 25. Number 25 is Russell, 219 speed. But again, his contact power, not great. Not great at all. His fielding and throwing, not great. Right? Contact goes up when runners in the scoring position. But overall, he is definitely a common player. Just a blah player to have. If you're a rookie and you're playing and you got him leveled up to something, go ahead and use him. Solid speed. But I mean, there's so many players in this game with speed that in the outfield that are 1,000 times better than he is. Sorry, Russell, you're number 25 in this need for speed list. All right, number 24, we're going to stay in the commons. Terry. Terry, now, if you go back in the very beginning, one of the original players you kind of get, in the beginning of the game. But after a bunt, his speed goes to 223. They increased that. It used to be 10. But even with that, his contact power, throwing, fielding solid. But again, going with the way the game works, the bunts are not necessary anymore. They used to be automatic probably 3+ years ago. So he was definitely a player you have on your team, but just not anymore. Not a quality player overall. All right, staying with the comments, number 23. I'm sad to put this guy. I really had to think about it. But I played with him quite enough to where I can't even activate his skill. His skill is fantastic if you can ever get it. All right, but Rama. Contact power, terrible. Speed, right at 200, throwing 219, fielding. And again, just not really an overall good player, man. His fielding is like throwing and speed, great. But I played 100 games with him, got a pretty good batting average, bat him at leadoff, right? And it just doesn't work, man. It's like, if his skill is only to gun someone down after a fly ball, it doesn't work. Played 100 games, did not activate his skill once. All right, he's number 23. So, number 22, once again, staying in the comments. I like this player. But again, bat him in the 9th, puts his speed at 208. Right? But fielding, throwing, his contact is great. But again, when it comes to like catchers and just ability, there's a better catcher with 200 speed that does a lot more. But again, when you have him in the beginning of the game as a rookie, he's pretty solid. Put him in there if you're a rookie. He's great. But once you start getting other catchers in this game, he no longer is relevant, in my opinion. So Ricky's sitting there at number 22. All right, number 21. Finally, not a common. This guy back in the day probably would be way up in this list. But Ruth, who let the Ruth out? Ruth, overall as a player, speed 209, power 190, contact average 175. Fielding and throwing, whatever. But essentially his skill is to jump over, right, over the catcher. He is now so easily timed. They've nerfed him so much that he's not even really a relevant outfielder, in my opinion. So that's why he's sitting there at 21. All right, staying in the epic lane, number 20. Number 20 is Way. Way, solid contact, no power, no throwing, no fielding, speed 209. So great contact, speed. If you can't read the strike zone, it's pretty decent to have him there. But he's just not great anywhere else except hitting and speed. So better defensive options, better hitting options in this game. If you want power bats, he's not really necessary. So that's why you got Way sitting at number 20. All right. Number 19, and I can almost rethink this person, but this is, my reasons. Morgan. All right, so Morgan probably deserves to be up more. All right, probably one of my most controversial ones, sitting at 19. Contact 209, speed 200, throwing, fielding, and power, all pretty bad. To get her boost to power, you have to have her bat in the 10th or 11th, 12th inning. She becomes ridiculous. But even with that, I've gotten that, I've done it, and the power just doesn't even come. Even during Clash League, having her come off the bench, that power, it doesn't really activate. Right? I don't know if it's the fact that she's a rare card. It's not like a Kevin, when you get it. But she's sitting there, a lot more options with contact and speed that you can have in your outfield, in my opinion. So that's why she's number 19. All right, number 18. Going back to the comments here. And we're looking at our boy, Smith. Smith sitting there at 209, speed 203. Again, his skill is running to first base, so good bunt. But again, fielding, throwing, not really relevant. So as a leadoff player, he's a liability in the infield with his throwing and fielding. A lot of better options, again, in my opinion, in his skill running to first base, a little faster. Okay, great. But after that, he becomes a dud, in my opinion. All right, so he's sitting there at number 18. All right, where are we at? Number 17, Andy Mancan. Now, Andy, defensive liability, good second baseman with throwing. You can put him at short. 162, fielding not great. Throwing average. Contact average. Power. Again, with this contact being low, I would even put Jack in there better because Jack's speed doesn't get to 200 at all. But, I mean, with the speed, in each base you go, the game is kind of cut off triples, right? His speed increases to the next base so he can get a double, but the game is make it so hard to get a triple in this game that makes Andy almost irrelevant, right? Good power hitter, just better options for power hitter in the infield with the throwing and fielding capabilities. Same thing, better contact as well. That's why you got Andy at 17. All right, another controversial one possibly is my dude Mark. All right, so obviously I don't have him yet at 13, of course, but he's at 184 every stat, and when the game is tied, he's at 200 every stat. All right, so that makes us just liable. Like, even with his skill, he doesn't even come through at 200. Doesn't seem like no one's really afraid to pitch against him. His defensive skill at 200 better, but when it comes to speed, just like there's better, more reliable options. He's an all-around average player when there's not a tie. When there's not a tie, right? So having him bat leadoff, the 0-0 game, solid. But doesn't come up enough to where he is valuable, in my opinion. Even maybe if you're a rookie and you have a 9, 10, 11, and you're playing a rookie level, great player against other rookies. But just at level 13, not a great one there. All right, number 15. We are going to another good arm right here. So throwing 200, speed 209. Again, when she's stealing, fantastic ability on the steal, contact power, and fielding not great. But again, having her in the bottom of your lineup or even lead off, because again, I've shown you guys videos. Lead off is fantastic because it kind of gives you a boost. So they can get her batting average up a little higher. If you bat her lead off, solid at bunting. Solid outfielder in general. But 15 is where she's at. All right. Number 14. Da-da-da. Martina. Again, she's one of the more OP players now. The foul ball is easier to get in my game. She's kind of like a Morgan, but instead of like each inning, the power goes up. Like each foul ball, the power goes up. So she's pretty much like Morgan in that sense. Pretty solid, left-handed, so first base is probably her number one position. But again, if you're going with the left-handed throwing, there's other players that are much better. But again, if you have her 11 or 12 and you're a lower level player, definitely put her in. Going to be a solid contact and a pretty good speed, so good leadoff hitter overall. She's number 14 right there. Okay, next we got number 13. It's going to be Chris. Chris right at 200, contact 190, and then, not really great stats overall, but he does help out everyone else in the outfield, making them a little bit faster. So that's why, again, when you boost your teammates, that helps, in my opinion. Pretty solid. All right, so there you go. Pretty good. Chris, 13. Number 12. We're going with our guy, Alexander, number 12. Can contact 200, speed 219, and when you tag up, he is gone, right? Not going to get you home runs. Terrible in the outfield, but he's useful on the base path, right? When you need a run, he can tag up from the infield and be safe, right? He could probably even be higher, in my opinion, right? Could be higher overall. Probably could be higher than this. So maybe I accidentally put him there. Who knows? But right now on this list, he's number 12. Could go up for sure. All right, number 11. Going back up here, and we got Dexter. Dexter, terrible power, terrible contact. Fielding is where you have him. Pretty solid shortstop. Throwing, speed. They sped him up with his throw a little bit more. Again, not a great hitter. You put him, bat him ninth in your lineup, right? Put the pitcher, great, put him with Shitaro, J-Hoke, so you could have a 9-hole hitter that's relevant, not throwing away outs. Or bat him leadoff, because again, it gives him a little bit of boost. But he saved some runs out there. That's why Dexter is at number 11. All right, number 10. All right, and I don't have her stats right off the bat, but when she came out, 600, that was ridiculous. I don't have her exact speed, but contact, you team her up with her sister Ray, and just kill her hitting. All right, speed, contact, this team's solid. I like her a lot. So she's number 10, Ren. Number 9. Here we go. Robinson, by himself, 190 contact power, speed 203. And again, you can get those up with the continuous hits. I got 5 right now. That's pretty solid. All right, so that makes him even better. Of course, that you couldn't put him down lower because he had to get to that level, but just by himself, contact, 191 power, and then 203 speed makes him a solid second baseman because he can't field and he can't throw. Second base is where you want him. He's there for offense purposes only. I would almost, in a Clash League setting, put him on your bench, bring him in the bottom of the ninth with a continuous hit streak on, and you should be good to go. But I like Robinson just because he has a solid offense overall. All right, number 8. We're going with my guy, Harden. All right, not a great bat average with him. I haven't used him quite a bit in my own situation. But you see him at a solid 2-hole or even leadoff, 206 speed. Again, his fielding and throwing, he's a third baseman. Pretty much people put him at third base. But he gets the job done, man. It's always a difficult out at the plate. And, it doesn't make a lot of errors, even with that crazy little spin, little barehanded throw. So, with him, he's up there, number 8, solid. Lucky number 7, Neville. Right, Neville, not a great contact, not great power, but on the base pass, that elusive sliding makes him the new Ruth in this game. You see him a lot in the upper levels as a speed outfielder. Again, he's a leadoff hitter, 2-hole. He's going to get you some runs with that slide. All right, so Neville, number 7. Number 6. Number 6. Where is she at? There she is, Angelina. All right, contact, not great. Power, not great. 209 speed, fastest catcher in the game. Throwing, fielding, okay. But again, she increases the whole entire team's lineup, right? The contact on everybody is up. That is just huge when it comes to a great player with 209 speed, and being the fastest catcher definitely helps as well, which is on the base paths. So solid catcher to have in your lineup just because she helps everybody. All right, solid there. All right, we are down to the top 5. Top 5. Number 5, we got Annie. At 215 contact, 219 speed. Again, power, throwing, fielding, not really there. But she, again, has that little extra boost in the outfield, which you pair her up with Chris, right? And makes her even faster. One of the original gold level players you're going to get in this game, Annie, is number 5 in the game. All right, number 4. Solid lefty. Probably put it up first. 219 speed, 203 contact. Fielding pretty good. Throwing, not necessary. Power, not necessary. But she's one of the better players in the game. Just overall with the quickness in the infield. Gets those easy outs. Put her at third. Again, her throwing's not great, but her speed makes up for it, in my opinion. So she's number 4. All right, speed. One of the originals in the game. Fox steals at a high chance of success, and they even made him better. Right, his contact average, everything is average except his power is terrible. But again, almost a guaranteed steal. You got the pitcher always thinking about the cat and mouse game, and anytime you got to affect your opponent with that cat and mouse, is he going to steal? Is he not going to steal? That's where he comes in at number 3. All right, he's number 3. Number 2. Antonio is the outfield version of Fox. Same concept, right? And again, the boosted chances for stealing even to third base, which is his boost this last patch. But he's a better overall contact, better hitter, terrible throwing, terrible fielding, but he is an offensive tool, overall better than Fox in every which way possible. So I don't even get it, but he's number 2 in my opinion. The dude is a freak. Leaving number 1, Speed, and again, she gets boosted, so she's not always even there. Kaya, 190, 190, 190 with that extra boost in the infield. She can get the contact power over 200 and even her speed over 200, right? So again, she's just an overall player. The power comes in, contact comes in. She's a freak of nature at the plate. And even 190, again, she's on that asterisk because she's not always at 200. She won't increase it. Like Mark, with tie games at 200. Ricky in the 9th inning at 200. She has to kind of find her 200. But again, my list, not yours. But Kaya is an amazing player in the game in just general. All right, so there's my list of the speed freaks in the game. Do you have the need for speed? Let me know what your list is. And of course, as always, everyone, thank you for watching another Lefties 2 podcast. See you next time.